I'm Joanne Flinn. I'm the artist booth Aster. I create art that lifts the soul. This year I'm exhibiting in Spain, Germany, Singapore and the USA. I'm currently preparing a set of works for a collection to go into the Museum of Art and Design for an event in June. Have I always been an artist? Well, I did the right thing. I went to university, I got great degrees, I ran my first $10 million business at 24. I became a senior executive at PricewaterhouseCoopers and ran their financial services consulting practice in Thailand, and then became a senior executive here in Singapore at DBS Bank. Absolutely brilliant at one level, except I realized that I had absolutely everything except for two things. I didn't have love and I didn't have life. I realized that I'd lost my soul. I realized I had to make the change, because if I didn't, who else was going to? So I realized I had a choice. I could either do something or not. I took action. I left corporate and I set up my own management consulting company. Over the next 10 years, I had clients like IBM, NOL, Novartis, Procter & Gamble, Bank Julius Baer. I published books with Wiley. I keynoted at the Project Management Institute, at the ACMP. I was asked to speak at the Asian Banker. And it was all very successful at one level, but at the inside, I still didn't feel that I had love and I had a life. I wasn't really living my life. What I realized behind it and why I share this is that I think as entrepreneurs, we can start off on a journey of things and we can be very successful. We don't always have everything that's important to us. For me, I realized that I could either be living on the sidelines, doing the intelligently right, or I could actually dive in and choose to live my life. So 2 years ago, I realized that a couple of things had been holding me back. I'd bought into the story of do what you're good at, do what you're known for. I was known as a management consultant. I was very successful in that space. But the thing was, there's something else that I'm very good at. I'm brilliant at art. A couple of years ago, a senior executive asked me to take a suit that she had. She'd been up in Hong Kong on holiday. She'd been asked to go in to see a CFO of a potential client. She bought a L'Oreal suit. It was thousands of dollars. It led to over $250,000 worth of business. It got her career headed off into a whole new direction. But the thing was, this suit had accumulated memories and it was just sitting in her wardrobe. She asked me if I could do something with it and create more out of it. So what I did was I created wings. I created a whole new artwork for her to express the new stage of life she wanted to go on to. Another executive saw this and started calling it soul finding. So you see, I had something I was brilliant at, but nobody knew about it. I didn't even show it to people in general. So that's one thing. The other thing I realized was that I'd bought into the story about I could go and live my life later. But then I started realizing, well, when was later? I mean, time was going to pass. That's what time does. And was I just going to wait till I was retiring? But then I'd be missing out on all that time between now and retiring, not living my life. So I realized that possibly wasn't the best reason not to be doing it. Of course, then there's the other thing, cost. Now, the money thing is a really big thing for all of us, be we entrepreneurs, executives, or people living our life day to day. I realized that I could have as much money as I wanted and I could still be in fear, and I could have as little money as I had and I could still be in fear. Money wasn't so much the thing. It was finding the courage to actually go and believe that my dream was possible, that I could truly live my life. So, I've had over the years, we've been through how many different financial crises in the last 20 years. I've seen it all, and the people who have the courage to step up and do it inevitably end up there. And those who stay on the sidelines, well, it's still the sidelines. And then of course there's the fourth area, the risk. What if it fails? Well, what I realized, and I'd been playing it safe, I'd stayed in the thing I knew I could succeed at, but I didn't have my soul. I didn't have my life. So at that level, I'd failed. And it was only if I decided that I had the courage to live my life, I could live my life. And And it's been a pretty amazing journey. I'll say it's had its moments of complete and utter terror. It's had more moments of complete and utter bliss and joy. I started creating paintings that took the music that gave me a sense of grounding and created structure so that I have them up on the walls to remind me how amazing life is. So it's really easy to wait for the perfect moment, to be going, I need everything to be aligned for it. But like this video, I just decided I needed to put it together to have it, to share some of that journey. And yeah, life's happening around me. There's people moving on the street, there's birds. Yeah, life keeps happening. But that doesn't mean I can't be here with you right now, sharing this part of the journey. So what I realized was that as a leader, we have a choice. We could either live into that vision, or we can let the fear hold us back. And yes, it takes courage living into that vision, but it beats living into the fear. As leaders, often our job is transforming past successes into future successes. Me, I've learned to use the arts process. It's a four-step process that is used to create great art. And great art is what transforms the world. It transforms who we are. It is an intensely powerful way of bringing change and new life into the world. It's far more than art for art's sake. It's art deliberately for the purpose of transformation. It's the difference between a concept and a strategy that's a strategy on paper and a strategy actually living, flying. Great art is more than strategy executed. It's a vision truly lived and realized. And I realized that if I can do things in this space that can help lift people's soul, that if I can create art as I do that lifts people's soul, that I'm making a major contribution in the world. I realized that for me, one of the things that comes into this is there's a space where we're going like, okay, there's, we have values, but then we go, well, what's the value of it? We start talking about meaning, and then someone says, well, how do you monetize it? And I realized I wanted to start creating into a space where we can talk about money and meaning as something that happily coexists, that it's not one lost for the other, that this in some way helps each of us reconnect with our soul. So as leaders, it's about asking the right questions, whether we're wanting to help an individual, a team, an organization, a business. It's what are the things that will help us see our world differently. It's about shifting mindsets, and that's what allows huge change to happen in the world. That from that mindset shift, different actions can occur. So it's the first moment, the first thing that allows new things to happen. And art is an amazing tool for this. I've had to develop things that anchor me in this. It's been a journey that's had its highs and its lows. It's been a place where I've learned to appreciate that that's part of the adventure, that if I wanted something that was just the same, there were different choices in life. But if I wanted to be fully living, those highs and lows are part of it. But the central things that are important to me are what creates those anchors. And as a woman, I found that hugely important. Community, friends, family, music has provided that. Art's also been part of that. Each one of us has anchors. So as you take whatever journey it is, find the things that gives you the anchor, but also something that can flow with you as you need to move. So a decade later on, in 2014, I realized I'd had all this success, this whole second journey and layer, but I still didn't really have two things. I didn't have the life I really loved, and I didn't really have the life either. That was the thing that triggered me to really look at things differently and start showing up as an artist. Because I realized at the heart of it in my soul, I wanted to be an artist. That part of me to go and express deeper meaning in a way that truly connected with people was the thing I really wanted to do. I had to find the courage to do it. With you, I hope that this slice of an entrepreneur's journey, it's been 14 years officially on the entrepreneurial path. It's been an amazing adventure. If you'd like to stay connected, I'd be delighted. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram and Facebook, that is brilliant. And if you want to step up and start changing the way that we relate to money and meaning, connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's start taking this conversation forward and doing something really powerful in our world. Because for me, this is about creating life, and every life that I can touch and add more life into is awesome. So thank you for being here and part of this amazing journey of life. I'm Joanne Flinn. I'm the artist Booth Aster. I create art that lifts the soul.